In the previous module, you learned how to become informed and how to communicate with your political representatives. In this module, we will discuss how to become involved in public policy through the agency rulemaking and permitting processes. You will learn how to craft written and public comments regarding proposed regulations, how to search for public notices and comment opportunities of potential interest to you, and how to effectively advocate for your point of view. We will also review submitting letters to your elected representative and present a video on how to develop strong public speaking skills. Because this is our last module, at the end you will retake the quiz that you took prior to Module 1 so that you can measure your progress. Now, let's get started with learning about the types of agency actions that the public is usually invited to comment on. Generally speaking, the public has an opportunity for input on all major policy initiatives. For example, if a federal or state agency, such as the EPA or DEP, plans to issue a new rule about water quality monitoring or designating alternative water supply sources, the public will have an opportunity to read the proposed rule and attend public hearings to learn more about the new regulation from the agency and to offer public comments. After the hearing and issuance of their proposed rule, the agency must allow some time for the public to research the issue and to provide written comments. Many types of permits also require that the public be allowed to comment. For example, before issuing any permit to dredge or fill a wetland in order to build a new road, the Army Corps of Engineers must provide notice and a comment period for the public to weigh in on topics like the need for the new road and any harm that might come to threatened or endangered species from the proposed activity. All major federal activities that use federal funds also require the opportunity for notice and comment. Examples include the expansion of highways, developing offshore oil and gas resources, and the construction of dams. So what exactly are comments? Comments are one of the primary avenues for the public to provide its input on a particular issue of policy. Many state and federal laws require that important policy actions follow standard notice and comment procedures, meaning that prior to taking any definite action, the agency must provide notice to the public that it intends to take the action and must allow an opportunity for the public to comment, either through written comments by mail or email, or in person at a public hearing. One of the surest ways to stay up to date on public notices of hearings and rulemakings in Florida is to consult the Florida Administrative Register regularly. Often several issues are published each week. Each of these contains a calendar of upcoming events and notices of rulemakings and other significant administrative actions. They are searchable, so you can look for keywords for any particular issue that you might be interested in. You can also subscribe to the agencies themselves, as described in Module 6, and tailor your subscription to receive notice of any actions relevant to your issue of interest. On especially significant issues, nonprofit groups will often put out an email call to their members to sign petitions or offer comments en masse, which shows the agency the strength of support or opposition for a particular action. Lastly, agencies are required to post notices of proposed activities in the local paper of the area where the activity will have its primary impact. Comments can be written or oral. Written comments can be submitted by mail, but email is often the best way to ensure your comments reach the appropriate decision makers. Before writing your comments, be sure to prepare yourself by researching whom you should contact with questions, when the draft rules or permits you wish to comment on will be released, and if you can coordinate your comments with others. The notice will provide information about the relevant agency points of contact and will tell you where to direct your comments. It is critical to be fully informed about the proposed regulation or permit that you are commenting on. Collect background information and determine the scope of the issue. It may be especially helpful to also collect information about any other laws or policies involved connected to the rulemaking or regarding permit requirements, so that you can reference them while writing your commentary. It is also often helpful to know the historical and political contexts of the proposed regulation that you are commenting on, to see where the current proposal fits into the overall larger policy plan. Thoroughly reviewing and taking notes on the proposed rule may be one of the best ways to prepare your commentary. Transferring these notes to an outline or chart is an effective way to determine what you hope to achieve in your commentary and organize your thoughts in a logical manner. These two flowcharts present different ways you can organize your comments. On the left, the star represents your overarching position, whether supporting or opposed. Then each of the four middle blocks is one of your main ideas for why you support or oppose the action. The final small blocks represent your evidence, facts or laws that support your reasoning. The flowchart on the right is simpler but equally effective. The four blocks represent your linear thought progression from your main point to your reasoning and evidence, then restating your conclusion at the end. In your written comment, always make strong points supported by the law or known facts from other documents. Be as specific as possible and offer alternatives to any sections of the proposed rule that you disagree with. For example, instead of simply stating that you oppose a certain clause, propose a revision to the clause that you would support. Throughout your commentary, include citations to all resources you may have used so that they can be later referenced to support the accuracy of your argument. The chart titled Persuasive Essentials describes an effective way to organize the content of your persuasive written comment. Public comments are similar to written comments, except they are delivered orally at public meetings or hearings. The agency holds hearings on a rulemaking to inform the public about the proposed regulation and accepts public comment usually at the end of the meeting. Attending public hearings is a great way to learn more about the issue and to make your voice heard, and to meet other citizens and stakeholders who share your views. It is also an opportunity to hear the viewpoints of those on the other side of the issue. In preparing your presentation for public comment, follow the same steps as for written comments. In fact, it is a good idea to write your comments out in advance, since agencies usually ask for a copy of your comments for the record. Writing your comments ahead of time also helps you to organize your thoughts into the most clear and effective points that you want to make. Public speaking is something a lot of people are afraid of, but presenting your argument with confidence will better sway your audience. This video gives you 8 simple tips of how to overcome the fear of public speaking so that when you present, you can give the most persuasive public comment possible.
Speaking in public is said to be one of mankind's greatest fears. Commonly known as glossophobia, a fear of public speaking can occur in any environment and can impact us all. I have compiled a list of the best tips to help you overcome your fear. 1. Time perfect. Make sure that the speech delivered is appropriately timed. The concept is simple. Don't overuse or underuse the allocated time. 2. Start strong. The first 10 seconds of the speech will be how the audience judges you. Start with a fact and something to make them laugh. This makes you relatable and genuine. 3. Practice and practice. Make sure you know the concept and core themes of your speech before you deliver it. A good public speaker is someone who is good at practicing. 4. Eye contact. The audience loves to feel empowered and engaged with the speaker. Giving them eye contact achieves just that. Make sure to spread the eye contact amongst the audience to draw them in. 5. Body language. Positive body language can enhance your presentation in ways words can't. Body language accounts for over 50% of your communication, so use it effectively. 6. Gestures. A good public speaker uses their natural gestural vocabulary as well as their words. This means to use your hands to gesture whilst you present. 7. Organize your speech logically. Just like a good story, a good speech also has logic and structure. A simple 3-part concept, introduction, middle, and conclusion, with a split of 20-60-20 is the norm. 8. Connect with the audience. Public speaking is about engaging with the audience and making it interesting for them to learn and understand. This can be accomplished through storytelling and advice. So that's it, guys. For more techniques and tips, visit www.curefearofpublicspeaking.com.
Created using Powtoon.
In addition to commenting on agency actions, it is also your right to petition your legislators and to let them know how you would like them to vote on a particular issue. They represent you, after all. We covered how to contact elected officials in Module 6, but let's briefly review. You may register your support or opposition on a particular piece of legislation by calling, emailing, or mailing your representative, or through direct lobbying, which is when you ask for a short meeting with your representative and discuss the issue with the official or their staff in person. This template demonstrates the general layout of a letter to a legislator showing concern. Be sure to outline your points at the beginning, use headings to separate various points, and use statements rather than questions. Always be sure to follow proper writing practices. This template is similar to the one on the previous slide, but it gives an example of a letter to a legislator showing support. Not all written comments have to be complaints. It is just as important for legislators to know when people support their actions as when they oppose them. It is important to stay engaged and to continue to follow the issue after submitting comments, in case additional hearings are held or partial revisions are made. Staying on top of the issue helps to show decision makers that the public is truly engaged and interested in the outcome. Likewise, it helps if you rally support from other allied groups or interested members of the community. This type of community organizing is often called grassroots advocacy. Public participation is truly a case of the more the merrier, since the process is meant to be democratic, in the sense that the public's input is valued because the officials are ultimately supposed to be representatives of the public will. Because they represent you and your community, it is okay to ask for a meeting with the decision maker to further express your views on a particular issue or just to learn more about a proposed action. Lastly, always ask to be placed on an email list for future updates on your issue and related topics. Agency mailing lists are the easiest ways to stay up to date and to receive notice of future actions on your issue of interest. In this module, you have learned how to offer comments on proposed agency activities and reviewed how to contact your elected officials. Hopefully, this module has demystified public participation and how you can become involved in policy. Take a moment to reflect on how much you have learned throughout this course. You are now prepared to participate in the public process and to advocate for Springs as an informed citizen. Most importantly, you are now in a position to share what you have learned with friends, family, and others in your community. You can multiply your impact manyfold simply by educating and inspiring others. The next slide has a few additional resources on public participation before we wrap up with your quiz. For your final assignment, consult some of the recent issues of the Florida Administrative Register for a topic of interest to you. The website for the register is listed on the Additional Resources page. You can download the full issue and search the document for keywords like springs or water supply. When you find an upcoming rulemaking of interest, draft a comment letter to the agency showing your support or concern for the proposal. Be sure to note any key dates, such as hearing dates, and the deadline for submission of comments. If there is a public hearing and it is nearby where you live, you should try to attend to present your comments publicly at the meeting. If you cannot attend in person, submit your comments by email to the person specified and the notice in the register. Here are the websites for the Florida Administrative Register and a few other helpful, informative sites that can serve as resources to help you navigate the public process for water policy. Regulations.gov is similar to the Florida Administrative Register, but holds information on all federal actions. It is helpful to have some idea of what you are looking for in searching regulations.gov. If you find additional resources, share them with your classmates and other interested members of the public. Wow, we've covered a lot of material together. We hope you all have enjoyed this series of modules and that you now feel well prepared to engage in public policy on springs and water issues in Florida. To show you how far you have come, let's take another look at the quiz you took at the beginning of the course. Take a few moments now to answer these short questions as a way of reviewing this information so you can have it on hand when you need it. When you are next visiting a spring or reading about water issues in the paper, you'll have a better understanding for and appreciation of the issues involved, and can participate in deciding policy for the future of Florida. Teachers, please distribute the quiz. This presentation was produced by Save the Manatee Club with funding and support from the Protect Florida Springs grant program.